Hi everyone, I'm April, and you're watching The Tangled Cat Speaks. Now, I would just want to apologize now because I sound very congested because I'm just getting over being sick. I got the virus that shall not be named a couple weeks ago, and it's my first time, and it was awful. But I am recovering from it, and I'm sorry if you hear the congestion that's still all here. So that being said, this past month, I didn't do a whole lot, just because for an entire week, I was just feeling terrible. And I'm still kind of recovering from all of that, like I said, and the feeling of being lethargic, I can't seem to get rid of that, so I don't do a whole lot. So I've only worked on one project as far as knitting. At some point, I just couldn't knit because it was too hot. So I happened to stumble across a stitch along for a cross stitch on Instagram, and it kind of got me back into my cross stitch mojo, which I haven't cross stitched in a very, very long time. I tried starting again several months ago, maybe even a year ago, but it just didn't take. And this particular project I am obsessed with, so I'll get to that. Give me a moment. I have my Earl Grey. It's actually a cool morning in my house because it's been a little bit like it wants to rain. It's kind of humid. And first thing in the mornings, because I have my swamp cooler going 24/7, so first thing in the morning, my house is really nice and fresh and cool. So it was a good time to have some hot tea for breakfast. So let's see. Let's start with. I guess I already brought it up. We'll start with the cross stitch. So this is. And excuse me, I'm not, a fancy cross stitcher. It's just all mushed. This is part of the Supernatural Stitch Along by the Witchy Stitcher. And it's like a mystery kind of stitch along where she's only giving you parts of the pattern every week. So the first week was the border, which I started late in this stitch along. I think it started in June and I didn't start till July, so I was already a couple weeks behind. She had given, I think, 2 weeks or maybe a month, I can't remember what it said on the paper, for people to finish the border all the way around, and this is going to be big. But I've just been doing the border as I do each little section. So there are 4 sections out right now, and they're all these little kind of postcard or postage stamp style little individual motifs, and they all have to do with some supernatural creature. This particular one, this is just my magnet to hold my needle, but this one is the siren. Down here I'm working on the banshee, and then over here there's supposed to be a werewolf. And down here is what she's calling a changeling, which basically looks like a I'll show you some pictures of it, but it's like a baby bassinet cradle kind of thing, like partially covered, and then sticking out is like a little creature that kind of looks like a baby demon. So it makes me think of Rosemary's Baby. I haven't seen that movie in ages, but so I'm just going. Because the way that she came out with those 4 patterns in the order would have been siren, werewolf, banshee, and then changeling. But because I was already doing this side, I just decided to keep going down, which is fine. I'm sure she's not gonna send the cross stitching police to my door and be like, "You're not out of order." But I'm having so much fun with it. And I think it's because the other two patterns that I tried over the last several months, maybe even over a year, are more all over type cross stitch, where like every single hole has a stitch in it, and this has some obvious blank space. And I feel like this makes it seem like I'm progressing faster because I can finish this little piece and be like, oh, I finished a thing. Where on some of the bigger all over kind of cross stitch designs, like you can't really see what you're doing until you get really, really far into it, and then you're like, oh, now I'm seeing something emerge. But this feels like a quicker kind of satisfaction thing. So I'm having a really good time with it. I'm just doing it on 16 count Aida, and the one I got is like an oatmeal color, kind of soft, and I'm using all of the colors that they called for in DMC, except for the white and the pink, because they use very little. And I don't know if you remember, a while back I was trying to get myself into embroidery, so I had bought this cheap set of flosses and threads from Michael's, I think, just to play with, just to practice. And there was a pink and a appropriate shade of pink, and then there was some white, so I didn't buy those colors. Everything else though I did buy for this, and it is the called for DMC colors. Hold on one second, excuse me, I got a cough, excuse me, sorry. It's just, it won't go away. Anyway, so I'm having so much fun with this, and this is, like I said, it's going to be big, so this is probably going to take me towards the end, of the year. I never know what to do with the ends because they always fray. So I put on I thought I'd try some painter's tape, just to like keep everything in place so that you don't have threads coming out. And I know that I could probably run this through the sewing machine real quick and do a quick basting stitch, but I didn't feel like pulling out my sewing machine, and but the painter's tape isn't very sticky, which is kind of what I wanted because I didn't want it to like leave any kind of residue, but it's not sticky enough. It doesn't stick to the fabric enough, so I ended up putting stitch markers along with the painter's tape to hold it in place, which that's fine. It's ghetto, it's kind of janky, but whatever. This is how I do it. This is how we do it. Anyway, I know that there are people who are like, they have their floss tube channels. Everybody's just so beautiful and they show everything so professional looking and everything is so crisp and perfect. And I'm just like, it'll look crisp and perfect when I'm done with it. And it's ironed out and it's mounted and framed and everything. So it's kind of how I am with my knitting too. I noticed that I don't do a whole lot of like showing my bags and where I store all my projects and stuff, because most of the time I don't. If I'm working on something, it's out and it's sitting on the couch or on the table and it's just there until I decide I'm going to use it again. So I don't usually have the bags that I'm carrying the project in if I'm just at home and I'm just working on it. I have bags for storage, but I don't generally carry a lot of my knitting with me unless they're really small projects. And even then, if I'm showing it to you, it's not in the bag. So I know I'm just not like the other YouTube, what do you call it? Knitting yarny podcasters. And I'm certainly not going to be like that for my cross stitch. Sorry, I'm a mess. I know, but I'm happy you're here. I'm happy to, and spend a little time with you again. But what I have been working on, and I'm still in this kind of a monogamous project kind of mode as far as my knitting, I really, really want to get this sweater done. And this is the Saison, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, sweater. And I showed it last time. I think I was just to here on one sleeve, and I had just barely started the other sleeve. Well, I got both sleeves done now, and you can see I did not transition, it's a very stark line of demarcation, but I moved into the white, and then I wanted to tie it in together, so I made sure that I had some left so that I can kind of tie in the two colors together at the wrists. So I got both of those done, and I did a little bit of decreasing from the armpit to right about where the color changes, and then from there I did straight and no decreasing, and it's just a few rows of garter for the cuff. I didn't do ribbing. Excuse me again. Sorry. So they are a little bit flared, which is fine. I like how that looks. It comes just to right about here so I can grab onto them. And then I'm going to continue the white because that's all I have left is the bottom of the body. So I'm going to continue the white in the same amount of rows as this. And then I'll do the stripes again at the bottom before I do the garter stitch edging. So I'm super excited that I even got this far. Excuse me, sorry, that is terrible. So I love it so much. See, so I still gotta tuck in my ends, but that's okay. And it's fine that it's, like I say, it's a little flared. I don't mind that. This is just kind of like a throw over cardigan. It wasn't meant to be like closed or anything. So let's see if I stand up. So hopefully I can get the back to at least to here, but hopefully it'll be a little bit longer in the front, just the way that it'll drape. But I love it. I love it so much. It's funny how like up here the pooling was very random and it doesn't like make any kind of like actual designs, but into the sleeves it started doing this flashing, which I like. It's cool. Kind of looks like pink and green tiger stripes. So I'm super excited about it. I was thinking of doing some thumb holes, but nah, it's cool. I like it. And then if I wanted to, I could still kind of slide it up. So I'm really happy with it. Just can't wait to get the body done. But oh my goodness, I am, I think, well over 500 stitches already on the bottom. And because I'm continuously increasing, I'm gonna have a whole lot, more than 600, I think, along the bottom edge. So it's gonna take me forever. Now this is the white mohair that I'm using, which is not like this mohair. This was the Aloft from Knit Picks. This is just, I don't remember now. I had it in my head and I have foggy brain right now. I'll put it up here, but it's the difference between these two is I think this one has some nylon in it. And it has more yardage to the ball. But I mean, otherwise it looks and it feels the same. So I'm excited by it. And I'm almost done with these two, and I've got 8 more. So I know I'm gonna have enough. What I'm hoping is that by the time I get to that really long bottom edge, that I'm gonna have enough to do the 4 rows of striping at the bottom using this. I'm thinking it's gonna be enough, but we'll see. So that is all my knitting. It's really gonna be a short one today because I just don't have a lot to show you. I do have a few acquisitions, and I'm sorry, I got a cough again. I'm so sorry. Terrible. So I have been stalking the Breaking Yarn website, because McKaylee had come out with, was talking about a new colorway that she was coming out with. And I was super excited by it, you know, seeing all of the teaser photos and knowing her inspiration for the color. Super, super excited. So I was stalking and I was stalking and I was stalking, and the day came, and sure enough, I got cart jacked because I wanted it in fingering weight, and I didn't get fingering weight, but I was able to get it in a DK, which is fine. It's still beautiful, but I wanted some fingering weight, which is, I mean, it's not like she's never going to make the color again. There's more. But at the time, I was just like, ah! So I got DK weight, Breaking Yarn. She sent the little stitch marker on there, super cute. But this is her Saul Goodman colorway. Saul Goodman is, if you don't know the Breaking Yarn TV show, Saul Goodman is the lawyer that Jesse and Walter go to, and he's got his own spin-off show now and everything. And he tends to wear vividly colored ties and shirts underneath his simple suit jacket, and that's where this came from, is all the bright colors of his shirts and ties to go with the dark jacket. And it's really, really cool. Loving it. Because I only have the one skein of DK, I think it's going to be perfect for, McKaylee has a few patterns out that I've shown on here. She's got another cowl out called the Eye of the Partridge Heel Stitch Cowl. A while back she did one that was the Slip Stitch Heel Cowl. They're really, really cool. It's just taking the idea of using those stitch patterns that are commonly used in sock heels and converting it into something for a cowl in the round to show off that same stitch pattern. So I think this is going to look really, really cool in that Eye of Partridge colorway. So that's what that's going to be. But it was also stalking her experiments page, and I've talked about her experiments page before. She could, you know, all of the little things that she does, whether they're actual experiments or they're mistakes or they're like things that she bases that she's no longer going to use, stuff like that. She puts them in her experiments page, and sometimes she comes up with some really cool things. One more time. So one of the colors that she has is called Breaking Princess, and it's a really vibrant color that has deep purples and very bright pink. And this was supposed to be that, which it came close, but I think the purple just didn't come out as dark as she normally has it. So she didn't deem this perfect enough to be part of her Breaking Princess, so she put it in the experiments page, and it is also a DK weight, and I love it. And she said she did it as a sock set, a DK sock set. So this is a 20-gram mini of just plain pink. And then she also did a second one. I saw another sock set that I really thought was cool, again with the pink mini, but this is browns, and this is just all kinds of variegated browns, and they're going to be socks. Super, 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 super excited. So that's really it as far as yarn and knitting and crafting, honestly, because I haven't done a whole lot. What I did do was a lot of audio booking. Where did I put it? There it is. I did a lot of audio booking. I did mention that I had been reading, that I was going to be reading The Count of Monte Cristo. I started it in June, and we should have ended, everybody ended except me, of July. But I am still 150, I still have about 130 pages left from this marker to this blue marker. After this blue marker is like footnotes, because there's a lot of footnotes in here that relate to the actual historical events that are going on and in the time period that this was set in. So there's a few pages of notes at the end, but I got about 130 pages left of actual reading, and oh God, I'm so glad I took my time with it. I know that there were people in the read along who got through it within a couple weeks. They just ran right through it, and I took my time with it and did the entire 2 months to finish it, and I'm so glad I did, because it's such a good story. And it just felt like kind of like dessert at the end of a meal, at the end of the day, just read a few chapters and just wow, I just really had so much fun with it. And this is definitely going to be in my top 3 books that I love of all time. My first one is always going to be Watership Down by Richard Adams. Love that book. Loved it since I was 10. And right around the same amount of time is my favorite Agatha Christie. Loved it since I was about 10 or 11. Murder on the Orient Express. And this is up there. I love it so much, and I'm really excited to read The Three Musketeers, but that's not going to be for a while. Sorry, hold on. Okay, let's just go over a couple of books that I've read, and then I'm going to call it a day, because my goodness, I thought I was okay enough to do this, but apparently the tickle is still there. So, I finished all of the Stephen King Dark Tower series books, except for one, and this is one of the shortest ones, The Wind Through the Keyhole. But I'm going to read that later on in the month. So that's the last one in that series. So I finished that read along. So super excited about that. I'm still moving along in the Expanse series. Let's see, I'm about to start Nemesis Games, which I think is the 4th book. There's some novellas sprinkled throughout the whole series here and there, but of the main books, I think I'm in the 4th one. Sibyl LeBurn was the last one that I read in that series, and I think so far that's my least favorite. And I remember that particular storyline in the TV series was also not my favorite. So, I mean, it seems like they're sticking pretty good to, the TV show is sticking pretty close to the book series, and I'm super happy about that, because it's such a good book, or good series. Still going along with the Michael Crichton once a month kind of read along. And honestly, I'm not sure about the last 2 that I read, because in July I read Pirate Latitudes, and it was good, but it wasn't my favorite. There was a kraken involved, and it was cool, but it wasn't my favorite of his books. And then I just read the most recent one on the list was called Micro. I hated it. I really did, and I don't like saying that, but I mean, I guess it's fine. I mean, I've been reading these since February of last year, and I finally got to one that I didn't like. So wow. It involved nanotechnology, and I think he already did something similar to that in Prey, which I really liked Prey. But this one was kind of similar, but not, because now it also involved not just small technology, but it involved shrinking technology and shrinking people. And all I kept thinking was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids through the whole book. And then to top it off, they're in some sort of rainforest, I think, and I think they're in Hawaii, if I remember correctly. Somewhere in Hawaii. But they kept calling the place that they were, lab and everything was set up in Fern Gully. And I know that there's an animated movie called Fern Gully which is set in a rainforest of little tiny fairies, and it was so distracting to me. I don't know which came first, the book or those movies, but it was very, very distracting to me, and I just could not get into it. And it was just, the dialogue of the characters was just horrible. And I found out later that this book was only like a partial manuscript that Michael Crichton had done before he died. And it was passed on to another author, and I can't remember who it is, who finished the manuscript, and then it was published under Michael Crichton's name. So maybe that's why there's a difference, that I didn't enjoy it. I don't know. We also started the Lonesome Dove series by Larry McMurtry, and I know that that's like a classic Western epic saga. It was originally one book called Lonesome Dove, but then he did a sequel called Streets of Laredo. Then he went back and did two prequels. First one was Dead Man's Walk, which is what I read at the beginning of July. And then there's another, like, that was the first prequel. There's another prequel, and that's called Comanche Moon. And then chronologically would come Lonesome Dove, and then Streets of Laredo. So the group that I'm reading with is obviously doing it chronological order, not publication order. So I read Dead Man's Walk, and that was so good, and I was just surprised at how grim and violent and dark it was. It was really, really well written. I really enjoyed it. And from what I understand from people who've read all 4 books, is that Lonesome Dove, the original book, which it chronologically falls as the 3rd, is the best. So if I really enjoyed this one, and from everything that I hear, Comanche Moon is really good too. So if I enjoy those, I'm just super excited to get to the actual Lonesome Dove book. Who knew I would like Westerns? It's just crazy. I'm just really enjoying finding different genres that I never would have gotten into without having discovered this Discord that I'm on. So yeah, super excited about that. I'm just reading a lot of different things that I never would have picked up just randomly. What else? Oh, hold on, excuse me. And then the other day, I found this book. It's a children's book, young children's book, in a free library box, little free library. And I grabbed it because I thought it would really be really cool to put in another little free library that's closer to where I'm at. And there's a lot of kids that go to that one. So I grabbed it, and I looked at it and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. And then it turns out, I happened to see that there's a movie. I don't know if it's already out, but it's an animated movie, and it's called The Bad Guys. I just thought it just looks super cute. You've got a snake, a wolf, a shark, and a piranha. So I thought, I'm going to get it. I'm going to read it, even though I'm going to put it back in that little free library box. I'm going to read it first. And this literally took me less than 15 minutes, because I mean, each of them are like this. You know, like very few words, obviously for very young, early readers. But you know what? Sometimes I like stuff like that. And this one was super funny. It was really, really cute, and I had a good time. And I want to find that movie now, and I want to watch it. And apparently this is a series. I'm not going to go hunting down the rest of the books in this series. If I happen to stumble across them or whatever, great. But I thought this was super cute. Super, super cute. They're bad guys because they're the fearsome animals, you know. Everybody's always afraid of them. But he wants to make a new name for themselves and show everybody that they're just misunderstood. They're really good guys. And the other ones are kind of like, I don't know about this. It's super cute. Love it. So that's probably what I'm going to do today, is see if I can find that movie if it's already out, and just watch it while I'm knitting. Yeah, I feel kind of awkward because this was a terrible podcast, and I'm sorry for all of the coughing interruptions, but I really wanted to keep on my schedule. I feel fine other than the congestion and the itch in my throat. But thank you so much for coming and spending a little bit of time with me. Again, I apologize. This one was a mess. But I just wanted to keep you all updated on what I'm doing, and I really enjoy doing these podcasts. So please forgive me, and please come back next time. Please. My hair is growing out, and I'm trying to let it grow out. But it's in this awkward stage where I'm like, I don't know what is going on here. It doesn't know what it wants to do on any given day. It's okay. It's okay. Pretty soon I will have it, and it'll be like a cute little bob is where I'm trying to get it, and maybe, flip up the ends. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But it's going to take a while. It's already taken me forever. So I'm going to get back to my Earl Grey, and again, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me today, and I hope to see you all again next month. Hopefully I won't have this ugly cough next month. And please stay safe, stay healthy. I will see you all later. My nose is starting to itch now too. I'm gonna go take some medicine. Bye.